Welcome back, everybody. Today is a continuation to the last video I made. This is going to be about priming the muscle for greater muscle growth and performance, whatever you need to do. So the first thing that you're always going to want to do is stretch, then warm up. During that process, you get that magic, intangible thing, which is the mind-muscle connection, and that's going to carry over into your weights. As I said before, this is a push day for me, so I'm going to be training chest, shoulders, and triceps. I get a great connection with my shoulders. As I mentioned before, I don't really need anything for that. Triceps, they're going to be good and fried by the time I get there. It's the chest that I'm the most concerned about. One thing about it is, I'm one of those people that I was actually referring to in the first video, that shoulder impingement, okay? So I'm pressing movements, particularly with a bar, flat bench. As I come down, you can feel pain in the shoulder, especially on the way up. After a heavy set, because I didn't stretch, I didn't warm up enough, my cues weren't right, my form wasn't right, plus you add me lifting excessive weight, thinking that that's what I had to do, it's all recipe for a disaster. And all that load, that heavy load of weight ends up in your shoulder. It's not supposed to, okay? So I'm gonna show you, we're gonna go through all that. Little cheat here is that you gotta think about what muscle groups are the largest and what can they handle? What are they naturally supposed to handle, right? So your shoulder joint and your deltoid muscle, your anterior, medial, and your posterior, they're not meant to hold 400 or 500 pounds on the way down. The biggest muscle group that could accommodate that would be your back muscles. So you've got to find a way through form and cues to isolate that and have your back muscles pick that up, your lats, and everything else back there. You got to have them pick it up on the way down, and then on the way up, you want to isolate your chest so you're pushing with it, and that mind muscle connection's there. It takes a lot of that load off those shoulders. So I'm hitting the targeted muscle group, which is the whole point, right? So when I started doing it, and I started lifting in this method, my problems went away. So I'm gonna teach you guys how to get there, but it starts with stretching and warming up. All right, for the first stretch, we're gonna use just a standard size broom handle. What you're gonna wanna do, I'm gonna have 8-foot cylinders in here. What you're gonna wanna do, take this behind your back and go up with it to where your arms behind your back like you're about to get put in handcuffs. With the other hand, you're going to reach above your head and you're going to cinch it pretty good, right? You're going to pull up with this hand. Now you're going to pull up with this hand. You're going to be stretching your triceps. You'll be pulling down as this one pulls up. So it's like this. To make this stretch better, of course, the harder you pull up, the more you're going to feel at your shoulder. But you can also get tight here, and that'll actually hit the tricep, okay? So, tight, pulling and pushing, or pulling and pulling, whatever it is, okay? Hold it for a few seconds, lean straight up and back, so that way it really isolates that shoulder, hold it, release it. And do the same for the other side. I do this that way my shoulders are good and primed. So you got to get blood in there. I know that's not isolating the chest, but trust me, on pressing movements, especially with a barbell, you're going to want your shoulders to be good and primed. I'm doing it again. Hold for a few. And that's good. Also, you take this, take it behind you, like so, stretch it up. Grab a little bit narrower, try it again. You'll get caught, like I just got caught there. You have to widen out a little bit, take it all the way back. Okay, So now we're moving on to chest. Like I said, it's easy and you can get through it pretty fast. But the key here, I know I'm trying to stretch my chest, right? So this is where you begin to get the mind muscle connection. Do you feel it in your chest? If not, you need to make adjustments now. So you put your arm at a 90-degree angle. And you don't go crazy with it, but you're here, turn away from it. And slowly flex that chest as if you're trying to squeeze it to fight against it. Hold it for a few seconds. Okay. Do each side 2-3 times, and then that's all for that. So I'm gonna do one more here. Okay, the lighting's not great in here. This is going to be a foam roller. I like the one that's rigid because I'm a glutton for punishment, I guess. But this is something that not only should you be doing, but you'll enjoy doing. I usually just roll my back, my shoulders, get on the ground. You're going to start with it about middle of your back, and you're going to roll your back up and down this thing. Usually it'll decompress. You'll hear popping like you're going to a chiropractor. Do it slowly. Don't take this thing, don't let it go any lower than the middle of your spine. We don't roll this over our lumbar. So I don't care what anybody tells you, don't do that, okay? But anyway, sit this on the ground and roll your body over it, okay? So I'll stretch my legs out too. And after that, I'm good and stretched out. I'll stretch my chest, my shoulders, my triceps, which is what we're gonna train. I'll stretch my back and my shoulders again, my traps with this, and then I'll stretch my legs out. I'll do a little bit of leg stretching, which is important because if you're benching or you're doing all these things, you're doing these heavy compound movements, you're gonna be using your legs. And it keeps them from getting injured. You're not gonna pull anything, you're not gonna have some strange injury because you're primed stuff, okay? We're finally getting to a point where we're about to lift. I don't like to exaggerate about times. I don't really like to approximate stuff, but a lot of people don't like to stretch and warm up because it takes time. And you're already in the gym long enough, but it's worth it, okay? I probably stretch for about 3 to 4 minutes. That's it. I'm gonna warm up as much as I need to, but this isn't the typical warm up, okay? What's gonna happen here is I'm gonna set up a bench. I'm actually gonna set up an incline. So for an incline press. Most people, they'll get underneath this thing and you'll see them just rep it out. And I'm not saying that doesn't help. That's not what I'm trying to accomplish here. And it's not what's gonna benefit you the most. We're literally gonna get in position and we're gonna treat that bar, because the first set I'm gonna do on a warm up is gonna be just a bar with no weight on it. So that's 45 pounds. We're gonna treat that bar like it's a weight, like it's full of weights and it's a working set. So we're gonna get in position, we're gonna hit all our cues, arch our chest up, get big, put our shoulders back. One cue that I love, something I've been doing lately, I said it before, you want your ears and your elbow or your shoulder to be as far away from each other as possible, especially on pressing stuff. So one thing I've been doing is rolling my back and keeping my elbows tight. Instead of just pulling back, rolling my back and keeping my elbows here. That changes the angle of the bar path, for those who know what I'm talking about. But it guarantees that my shoulders are away from my ears and that my back, my lats, traps, all that stuff is gonna take a load, especially when we get heavier, it's gonna take the brunt of that load. So it's gonna take that weight off my shoulders. Another thing is, on the way up, I'm not going all the way up. When I do that, you can't tell, but it releases what I'm holding on to back there. It's not necessary anyway. Full range of motion doesn't dictate that I overextend. So in theory, I'll roll back, lock it back, and then when I get the weights off, I'll set it up to where I just barely get it off, so I'm still in position, and then I go down. It's an incline, so it's higher on the chest. and then up about right there, back down. You can say what you want, but that's also putting continuous tension on my chest, which is what I'm trying to target anyway, okay? So just little tricks here and there, but in doing so, I've completely healed the shoulder, and I don't have shoulder pain anymore. Okay, we're set up, we're ready. A few things here. This is my gym. This is my home gym. I officially named it Swole So, welcome to Swole I love this place. I'm gonna do a video on what you need to know about home gym stuff if this is something you're wanting to get into. This is a standard 2-car garage, so space is pretty limited. I'm blessed, you know, I've got more space than other people. Some people have 3-car garages, huge warehouses, whatever. I absolutely made the best of what space I have, and there's a lot of trial and error in here. A lot of buying stuff, figuring out it doesn't work, selling it for something else. So I plan on doing a little series on that too. But in the meantime, this is a Rep Fitness rack. This was during the pandemic time, so it's hard to get stuff. I tried to buy some things I tried to go as cheap as I could on. Other things I spent quite a bit of money on. This rack, I think, can hold up to 1,000 or something pounds. It's been nothing but great. So I've added things to it. Like I said, I'll show you that later, but I numbered each one of these on these pillars, so that way we have the numbers, okay? And I took the measurements of every lift that I do while I use the rack. And for reference, I created a chart, and that's on that bulletin board there. So I know on this one for incline, the J-hooks need to be over here, the safety pins are over here. All that's set up saves you a lot of time, and trust me, you're gonna be doing the same lifts all the time, weekly. You're gonna wanna make things as efficient and as quick as possible. So where you're taking more time out of your day to stretch and warm up, you can take less time by being more efficient with how you move through here. So, first set, it's the bar, right? I'm gonna get into those positions using those cues and those form cues, and I'm not gonna just push the bar, okay? The bar is light, but I'm going to literally try to engage my chest right where I want it to be, and I'm gonna create a strong muscle-mind connection, whatever. Some would say that I'm pre-fatiguing the muscle, and I am. I'm not here to break world records and PRs today. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to fill the weight, not move it. So it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter when you're starting, if you lift the bar and that's as heavy as it gets. You will get stronger, but we're lifting for hypertrophy. We're lifting to gain muscle, okay? So strength will come as that. It's a byproduct of that. But again, I don't care. There's a million people out there that lift heavier than me anyway. I never thought I was gonna break PRs in strength, and you shouldn't either. I told you in one of my other videos, pick your path and go for it. You can't be on 20 different roads all at the same time, right? So, I'm gonna demonstrate this. Everything matters. So your feet placement on the ground, from your toes to your nose. Your feet are gonna be flat on the floor. I do create somewhat of an arch in my back, but it's just from rolling my shoulders back and keeping my elbows back, okay? You're gonna notice the bar is pretty close to the bench here. That helps me keep my position. If it were higher, I'd have to lift up high, and that screws up me arching my back and everything else when I get down there. So, feet are flat on the floor, straight ahead. We get underneath here. When I'm at this position, I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, elbows, grab the bar. Okay? I'm in position, I lift it. I didn't have very far to go, right? So I'm gonna go down, and then I'm gonna push up, about right there, and then back down. One of my favorite cues for bench press, especially with the bar, is that because of the direction that your pectoral muscles run in, as they run diagonally,
to engage them the best, you want to do movements that run diagonally, okay? So just getting in a bench press and just pushing straight up and down, it'll work the chest, but it's not targeting like it could be. So when you get in here, the bar goes wide on the way down, or as wide as it needs to be. But on the way up, if you can move your hands closer, that's really pushing that chest together on the way up, which is hitting it, right? I can't technically move my hands like that. But what I can do as a form cue is on the way down, I focus on the weight being in my lats, right? Not in my shoulders. And then on the way up, I'm trying to connect my hands together in my mind. Even though my hands don't move, I'm literally trying to make it happen anyway, and in doing so, I feel it in my chest. I stop before it goes too high. Now some people can't handle the bar coming down too low, which I understand, and you don't have to. A lot of people say you can go, an inch or so above your chest on the way down, so you can stop it there. You don't have to go all the way down. That's fine. But on the way up, once you get to a certain point, look how close that shoulder is getting to my ear. At this point, my shoulders are engaged, more than they should be. So I like to keep my shoulders back and behind me. I push and come back. I'm isolating that chest. My shoulders and my triceps are getting some work in, but they're not taking the brunt of it, okay? So I'll demonstrate it. It's harder for you to see because I'm doing this based on how I feel. It'd be easier if I was trying to demonstrate how to lift a lot of weight because you can see the bar move, right? But on this, it's about how it feels. Slow it down, even with the bar, and squeeze. Get that squeeze going. Your chest you're gonna feel it in your chest after each warm-up set, okay? From here, come back. I gotta get away from this bar. I'm gonna roll my shoulders back, elbows back, grab the bar, feet are down, push up. It comes down, and then I'm squeezing my hands in that direction. Squeezing them, back down. Squeezing them, back down. I'm making that bar heavier than it actually is on purpose. Okay, now I do rep ranges of 8 to 12, okay? Anything higher than 12, like if I put weight on there and I get to 12 and I can easily keep going, I push till I get close to failure. Next set, it's time to add weight to it. If you're lifting so heavy that you can't get 8 reps, clean reps, you're lifting too heavy. You take some weight off. What's gonna happen, and I'm not gonna film this, what's gonna happen with every warm-up set, I'm gonna add weight to this. I wanna have the same connection, my muscle connection with that muscle that I had with this last set. If you get to a point, and it will happen, you start putting heavier and heavier weights on there, at some point, this is a very basic way of explaining this, but your pectorals are only so strong. Once you get to a point where they're done, other muscle groups are gonna be recruited to accomplish your lifts. So when you put 500 pounds on there and your chest isn't strong enough to push it, you better believe that other muscle groups are gonna come in and try to help, right? That's how you get injured. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't be able to lift that much. If you get enough muscle on you and you start from the bottom and work your way up, eventually, as you're adding weight to this and you're keeping a connection, you're growing, you're getting stronger, it's absolutely possible. You see top bodybuilders who lift that much weight, they work out with it. But the difference between them and powerlifters is they have total control. They're squeezing the whole time. They're isolating and squeezing, okay? They're doing controlled reps. They master that weight. They're doing way more than 1 rep, way more than 5s or 3s or whatever a strength athlete would do. They're doing it specifically to target that muscle. The same as we're doing with the bar, okay? So guys, I hope this all helps. More stuff's gonna come, but we should be working smarter and not harder. At any age, you should be worried about function and form over performance, right? Unless you're trying to be a power lifter or a strength athlete, the name of the game isn't how much you're gonna lift, okay? And it's fun to lift heavy weights, I've done it. But if you get injured and you don't get bigger and that's your goal, then what's the point, okay? I've taught you a way to stay safe and healthy and to target muscle while you do it. So I hope this helps. If you guys have any questions, hit me up. I'm gonna put my website at the bottom of this. I'm available for coaching, any kind of advice. Shoot me a DM, I'd be glad to help you. All right, y'all, take care.